What's up, Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Light rain in the mountains of southern Taiwan has done little to ease a drought. The area is experiencing its worst dry spell in over 70 years. One of the water sources heavily affected is the Chenqing Lake in the city of Kaohsiung, which is being used to boost local water supplies. Water levels there had dropped below 60%, but they rose to around 70% over the weekend after water was redirected from nearby reservoirs. Officials are hoping that more rain will arrive in the coming weeks, but in the meantime, they're keeping water restrictions in place throughout southern Taiwan. Authorities have begun cloud seeding to try and increase rainfall amid an ongoing water crisis in Taiwan. Workers sent chemicals into the air over several northern reservoirs over the weekend when there was some light rainfall. Cloud seeding is a technique that improves a cloud's ability to produce rain. It can only be done when it is already raining. Scientists are still unsure about how effective cloud seeding really is. The Water Resources Agency says it's further developing the technology. This year's drought could be the worst in decades. Japanese composer Ryuichi Sakamoto died last week at the age of 71. An influential musician in the experimental electronic genre, Sakamoto is perhaps best known for his Oscar-winning film scores. Joyce Sang looks back at the life and legacy of this renowned artist.
This solemn melody is from the 1983 war movie, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. It was Ryuichi Sakamoto's first film score and the start of what would become a prolific Oscar-winning repertoire for the Japanese composer. Sakamoto died in Tokyo last Tuesday at the age of 71. He had been battling cancer for several years. His management company confirmed the news on Sunday following a private funeral service. Sakamoto was known as a pioneer in music and was praised for his drive to continuously uncover new creative ground.
I want to try many different things, styles. I want to have many experiences musically, and I sometimes think, oh, I've been doing too far. Let's go back, or something like that.
Born in Tokyo in 1952, Sakamoto began composing music when he was only 10 years old. He was inspired by artists such as the Beatles and Claude Debussy, and would go on to study at the Tokyo National University of Fine Arts and Music. In the late 70s, Sakamoto formed the electronic music band Yellow Magic Orchestra alongside Hosono Haruomi and Takahashi Yukihiro. The band's music has been credited as a bedrock for the J-pop, electro, and techno genres.
I was never comfortable being Japanese or something, Since I was little, I always thought of, going beyond the walls or boundaries. That must be my nature, part of my nature.
Throughout his career, Sakamoto released over 20 solo albums and became a highly sought-after composer of film soundtracks. His most decorated work was his score for the 1987 epic, The Last Emperor. Sakamoto received both a Golden Globe and Oscar for Best Music for that score. He went on to win numerous other awards throughout his career. He took a hiatus after his first cancer diagnosis in 2014, but came back to write the score for the 2015 film The Revenant, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. Last June, the composer announced he had stage 4 cancer and organized what he said might be his last ever concert in December. Recording from the legendary NHK studio in Tokyo, Sakamoto performed one last time via live stream to fans around the world. On Sunday, tributes to Sakamoto poured in on social media, including from the Smiths guitarist Johnny Marr and Suga from BTS. One of Sakamoto's favorite sayings was, "Art is long, life is short." It's a thoughtful and poetic reflection from a man whose music will long be remembered. Kamashu and Joyce Zen for TaiwanPlus.
In a major federal lawsuit, the U.S. Justice Department has sued two petrochemical giants in the southern state of Louisiana. One of these companies' plants is in an area known as Cancer Alley, where air pollution has been linked to the highest cancer risk rates in the country. This follows a years-long campaign for cleaner air by residents in the predominantly Black local community. Sally Ensign reports.
Children play among the towering smokestacks. Until recently, this was a common sight in St. John the Baptist Parish, Louisiana. Residents here say the chemicals being churned out by the nearby plants have had major impacts on their health. In recent years, this 85-mile stretch from New Orleans to Baton Rouge has become known by a grim nickname, Cancer Alley. The route has hotspots where the likelihood of contracting cancer far exceeds standard levels recorded by the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA.
We don't have a clue as to what the effect could be, especially the cumulative effect with chemicals being unleashed on us. We know nothing about them until we begin to die of cancer in such unprecedented numbers.
And this is the source of those chemical emissions, nearby petrochemical plants.
Petroleum can be found in almost every aspect of our daily lives, from food packaging, cosmetics, clothing, even vitamin supplements. All use raw petrochemical materials. But producing this plastic requires burning oil or petroleum, which is a fossil fuel.
This industrial process emits toxic chemicals like chloroprene and vinyl chloride into the air. Residents in the mostly Black community of St. John the Baptist have been pushing for environmental justice for several years. And in 2016, the locals banded together to form the advocacy group Concerned Citizens of St. John.
You could be sitting there, all of a sudden everybody's coughing. You got this dry cough, something is choking you. Just being there, you just start choking. So it's something in the air. It's disturbing to have to live this way and to think our future generation, like this poor little child right here, living right next to the plant. Right next to the plant.
What is it doing inside of us? We don't know.
Health concerns got so bad that in 2021, the head of the EPA, Michael Regan, visited the area.
And we need to determine whether existing law, if followed, is protective enough. So yes, there is a thorough evaluation going on across the board. And the message here to these communities is we have to do better and we will do better.
Following years of campaigning by locals, the government finally acted. Last month, the US Justice Department sued 2 petrochemical companies operating in the area. Japanese company Denka, along with US chemicals giant DuPont, are behind a facility whose emissions authorities say violate the federal air quality law, the Clean Air Act.
You have such a history of environmental racism in the placement of facilities within the state of Louisiana into communities of color and communities of lower income that it's almost impossible for one not to conclude that there's something wrong there.
The lawsuit is a major victory for grassroots environmental campaigners and marks a significant escalation in the enforcement of the Clean Air Act. Global consumption of plastics continues at a rapid pace, and keeping up with demand continues to have serious impacts on the environment. But armed with clean air lawsuits, residents of small towns in Texas and Louisiana are pushing for some of the plastic giants to take action and to stop jeopardizing the health of both local people and the planet. Andy Schwer and Sally Ensign for TaiwanPlus.
Scientists have set a new record for both catching deep-water ocean fish and capturing them on film. Researchers from Japan and Australia reeled in some snailfish from just over 8 kilometers underwater last August. They were caught in the Japan Trench in the North Pacific Ocean at over 150 meters deeper than the previous record. It's also the deepest that fish have ever been filmed. The snailfish being caught on camera at a slightly lower depth of over 8,300 meters. The researchers are working on a 10-year project to study fish which survive in some of the deepest parts of the world's oceans. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of an annual ox cart race in Cambodia. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.